Different from the other videos, I'll need to cover all the topics together in this one. To help me with that, I created this watch face and added some styles to the components. Let me show you. I added 4 color palettes, 3 radial indicators, each one with 3 styles, 2 complications, 1 digital clock with 3 fonts available, 1 main index with 2 styles, 1 more index, and 1 image component as background with 3 styles. You already know you can use this menu here to simulate each style, but let's say I want to simulate another background. Which one of these is the background style setting? I don't know either. I need to go testing one by one until I find out which is the one I want, because the names here are confusing. Even worse, these are the names the user will see on their watches when they install your watch face. But there is a way of making these names look better. For that, make sure you are in the Style tab, then click on the Customization Editor button. A pop-up will show up. In here you can see a close design of what the watch face editor, for a Samsung watch and phone, will look like. Up here you have a preview of the watch face as the user set the styles, along with the name of the current style group. In here you have all the settings the user can change. And down here you have the options available for each setting. Here on the left, you have a menu to help you organize the editor. You can see that there is one group for each component that has the option to change the style and 2 extras. The Premade option I'll cover later. The second option is the palette. If you click on it, you will be taken to the palette screen inside the editor. You can see that each palette has its name under it. These are the names the user will see for each option, and it is also the name that accessibility apps will use to help their users. So, it is important for us to provide good names. Note that the color group selected on the left has an arrow on it. If you click on this arrow, 4 options will show up. Each option here represents one style. In this case, each one represents one palette. Also notice that there is a button for each one when you click on it, the Text ID button. If you click on this button, a new menu will show up. It is in here that you are going to select the text for your style. To add one text, click on Add New. Another pop-up will open. Up here you have the ID input. You can give any name for it. This ID name will not show up on the user's watch. It is here just to help you identify what this text means. I'll call this one, color_0. The second input is the default value. This is the value that will show up on the user's watch. I'll type orange in here. Down here you can see a drop-down. If you click on it, you will see a lot of letters. I'll leave a link in the description for documentation with the meaning for each option. Each of these options represents a language and a variation of that language. For example, I'll add the translation of orange in Portuguese. For that, I'll look for the letters that represent the Portuguese language, in this case P and T. Note that we have 3 PT options. While the first 2 letters represent the language, the other 2 represent the country in each of these languages are spoken, as there might be variations in each country. The BR in here means Brazil, and the PT Portugal. Also notice that we have just the PT option, without extra letters. If you choose the option without the extra letters, this translation will be available in all countries that speak that language. In this case, the same translation will be used in both Brazil and Portugal. If you choose one of the options with a country tag, this translation will be available only in that country, even though the other speaks the same language. For example, I'll select the BR option, therefore, this translation will be available only for watches set to use Portuguese from Brazil. In front of the option, type the translation, like this. You can add as many translations as you want. In case you wish to remove one, click on the corresponding X, like this. But what text will be displayed in the languages you haven't added a translation to? Well, the default value will be used. Okay, now we added a new text. To set this text to be used in the option, click on it to select it, then click on OK. Note that the option name already changes to the default value. You can repeat the same process for all the other options. I'll add just one more so this video doesn't get too long. But once again, I recommend you do the same to the others. And just to be clear, translation is optional. Great, now we know how to change the style option name, but what about the style name itself? For example, the second setting here is for the second hand. How to change this name? Well, the same process. But this time, instead of clicking on the arrow, you click on the text ID of the group, like this, and then repeat the same process. In case you typed a wrong value, like in this case, place your mouse cursor over the text option, then click on this pencil icon. Note that the ID is disabled. You cannot change an ID name after you add it, only the text and the translations. Done, the name changed. You can also see in the background that the name also changed for us in the WFS interface. Let me do the same for some of the other groups. In case you wish to go back to the initial name, click on the Text ID button, then click on Reset, then OK, and you're done. You can see that I have the option to change the style for the hour hand and the minute hand. The user can set any style for each hand individually. In case you want to force the user to always change both styles together, you can merge them into one style. To do that, first you need to select which groups you want to merge. For that, press and hold the Control key on your keyboard, then click on each group. Down here you will find two buttons. The first one is to merge groups. Let's click on this button, and done. You can see that now both hands components are part of the same group. You can also see that the options images are combined. Now when the user selects one of the style options, the hour and minute hands will change their styles together, as if they were one component instead of two. You can merge more components together. Just repeat the same process, select them, then click on the first button at the bottom. In case you want to undo this, select the group, then click on the second button, the Divide Set. Now both hand style can be changed without interfering with one another. The order the settings show up here is the order the user will see on their devices. You can change this order to have a better flow. For example, let's place the index settings after the main hand setting. For that, click on the index group to select it, then use these arrows here to move it up or down in the list, like this. Note that the previews for the indexes options is difficult to see due to their small size. You can also change the preview. For that, right-click on the option you wish to change, then click on Swap Preview Image. A pop-up will show up for you to select the image you want to use as a preview, like this. Now the images that will show up for the user are these ones. Just to let you know, Watchface Studio will resize any image you set as a preview to be 256 by 256 pixels. In case you want to go back to the initial preview image, right-click on the option, then click on the Delete Preview Image option. You can do the same with all the others, except the Premade and the colors. All these style settings we've added are available for the user to customize using the options we give. To help the user even more, we can give some combinations of style settings that can be more visually pleasing. That's when the Premade comes in. You select some styles and offer it to the user. To add a Premade, click on Set as Premade. A pop-up will show up. In here you can set the styles you want to offer the user as predefined. You can also set the default complication provider for each complication component, even if they are set to be fixed. Once you are done, click on OK. Now you have two predefined style settings here. If you click on the three dots icon, you will have some options. The duplicate will clone the Premade, but you still can change its style settings. The delete option will remove it. The rename option will show the language pop-up for you to set the corresponding Premade name. You can add a new name or use one that already exists, just like for the other options. The edit option will show that same pop-up for you to change the style settings for the corresponding Premade. Before ending this video, there are two things I want to mention about the languages. To talk about the first one, I'll add another language text here. If you click on the Manage Text ID, you will find the same list that the previous pop-up was showing. However, in this one you can remove a text. To do that, click on the X of the corresponding text ID you wish to remove, like this. Also notice that the other IDs do not have this X button. This is because they are being used. You can only delete one text reference when it is not being used, that's why the X's are not here. The second thing I want to cover is these two buttons here, Import and Export. All the text you add to this project belongs to this project only. In other words, if you create another project, it will not have any of the texts you added here. As it can be time-consuming to add the texts and the translation, Watchface Studio offers us one way of exporting the ones we created here and importing them into another project. To export the texts, click on the Export button. A pop-up will show up for you to select where you want to save it and to set the name of the file it will create. I'll call this one, my_labels. Now, just to demonstrate, I'll change the value of this label here to another one. Let's set it to banana. To import the texts, click on the Import button, then select the zip file the WFS created. In case you have an ID in the current project that is also present in the exported file, a warning pop-up will show up informing you that all the values from the current project that have the same IDs present in the export file will have their texts replaced by the ones inside the exported file. As you can see here, the text is not banana anymore, it is now the text it was when I exported it. It is also worth mentioning that IDs that are not present in the exported file will not be changed or removed, they will stay in the current project. This is all for this video.